Hello, class. It's been a long time since I've connected with you. I've been thinking about you and praying for you. I really mean that. I'm not just saying that. It's not just a regent professor thing to say. I don't say it unless I mean it. Want to connect with you all and tell you how I appreciate the work it takes to do the experiential timeline. That's really hard work, um, and I know that. I really do know how hard it is. I'm reading the papers for the other class, the face-to-face class, and I know how you guys, kind of put everything out there, and I appreciate that. And I will be reading yours this week also, and be giving you feedback on that. So, what I want to say in saying all that is that when you read these um, papers, when you've written these papers, you'll see from beginning to end how God had His purpose on you, and all these things that you thought were for bad were meant for good. There are some relationships that were broken. There are some times when you were broken. There's some times when life broke you, and one times where you broke yourself. All that stuff is very important for you to see in terms of how you have progressed and changed, but also in your work, it gives you hope in other people. I think sometimes counselors, particularly counselors who come into the business, new counselors come into business, they have this attitude of, I got to fix these people and I got to do this and I got to do that. When really, God can fix them. Your job is not to fix anybody. Your job is to sit with people, work with people, do what God tells you to do what your expertise tells you to do, and don't expect success all the time from everybody. It's just not going to happen. And you can take that personally when you don't have success, when people don't show up or what have you, or you can trust in the fact that you're not as good as you're going to be, but I'm not going to beat myself up because my job is to be present, do what I need to do, use my skills, and do what I think is best. So keep that in mind as you go forward. But I appreciate, like I said, you guys working hard. Understand that you have to resolve some of the issues that you've written about. And those issues could be some deep-seated stuff, or could be some stuff that hit you, kind of blindsided you when you were talking. When you were writing, kind of blindsided you. Or maybe you connected some things. It's important for you all to be in counseling as much as your clients to be in counseling. So make sure that you go into counseling and use the time to work on yourselves. That is a part of the wellness that we will talk about. That wellness we have talked about is that wellness. So it's really crucial that you know what's going on. Understand that this stuff could be hazardous to your ability to help someone else, and more importantly, could be hazardous to your own growth and development. So address that. When you go to your counseling, and people are always saying, Dr. Williams, I go to this counseling, I don't even know what to do, what to talk about. Pull out this timeline. You'll see 3, 4, 5 things that you need to work on. Work on those things. Another thing that we do, and now you guys are kind of early in the program, you guys are just learning how to stay with your client and be with your client and help them to understand themselves, and that's really important. But I want you to get to this next level, and in John 11, I'm going to read from John 11. I really would love for you guys to read this whole book of Lazzurus, John 11, the death of Lazzurus, because this is all God. God was only 2 miles away from Lazzurus. He could have got home if he wanted to get home, but this is all part of his plan. But I'm going to pick up on 38, and it says, and again, Jesus was deeply troubled. Then they came to the grave. It was a grave with a stone rolled across its entrance. Roll the stone aside, Jesus told them. But Martha, the dead man's sister, said, Lord, by now that the smell will be terrible because he has been dead for 4 days. Jesus responded, didn't I tell you that you will see God's glory if you believe? So they rolled the stone aside. Then Jesus looked up to heaven and said, Father, thank you for hearing me. You always hear me. But I said it out loud for the sake of all the people standing here, so they will believe you sent me. Then Jesus shouted, Lazarus, come out. And Lazarus came out, bound in grave clothes, his face wrapped in a headcloth. Jesus told them, unwrap him and let him go. I picked purposely these very commonly known verses because everybody has read this. Most everybody has read this. If you have not, please take some time to read about John. What we don't understand is a couple things. Number one, this was not major healing. That was going on in the time, because a person like me, I'm like, oh my God, how can they not believe in this guy? He's healing people from the dead. Well, in context, there were other people who were healing people from the dead. So they still had these issues with, is this really Jesus, the Son of God? So as you read through this, you see all kinds of rich things. Like, for instance, that Mary's supposed to be this, and Martha is supposed to really know God and love God and know that He's the Son of God, but they doubt too. And they're mad a little bit too, and they're blaming a little bit Him too. Jesus did this on purpose. What He did was He let Lazarus be good and dead for 4 days, so no one could say that He didn't raise him. He also had a crowd around, and He kind of played up to the crowd that was there. But for counseling, the issue is this, and this is one of the first verses that, as a young Christian, that really spoke to me. It spoke to the power of Jesus. And when I say this, He says, then Jesus shouted, Lazarus, come out. You can't run by that verse. Okay? It said, Lazarus, come out. That means that Jesus' power. If He didn't say Lazarus, come out, everybody would have came out of the grave. That's power, folks. That's the power of Jesus. So don't run by that verse when you hear that. The last part of this is in 44. It says, and Lazarus came out, bound in grave clothes, his face wrapped in a headcloth. Jesus told them, unwrap him and let him go. Again, don't run by this. This is very powerful for me as a counselor. Our job is not just to walk aside of folks. Our job is not just to help people get awareness, but our job is to help people unravel their lives and get out of their dead clothes. We can't just have people remain in their dead clothes. We have to loose people. Another translation says, loose him. We have to loose our clients, guys. We cannot just give awareness. Next semester in your practicum class, you're going to be helping people to loose themselves. That's a whole nother level, guys. That's a whole nother level of what we do here. Right now, you're just trying to hang with the client and trying to understand the client and listen to the client. Next semester, you're going to be trying to loose people. You got to get people out of their dead clothes, try to get them to understand, get them unstuck, and get them into new clothes so that they can be much more what they want to be. Not what you want them to be, but what they want to be. I love this verse. It really speaks to me. In terms of my job is to help people loose themselves. The last piece I'm going to say, and I'm going to let you go, is that Lazarus could not loose himself. He needed other people to loose him. He needed the community to loose him. He needed folks to really step in and do that for him. So that is our job. I love talking about this verse because it was one of the first ones that really spoke to me. So I am done talking with you for today. I am not done praying for you, and I pray that you are doing well, and I will see you online.